All right, so child's pose. You can also see my lovely little birthday flowers in the background here, a little added ambiance. So in your child's pose, your knees could be wide, they could be closer together. You could have your arms swimming back or reaching forward, maybe up on blocks. And on that note of blocks, if there's something that will make your practice more comfy, doesn't have to be a conventional yoga prop, but anything that could help you in your practice tonight, just go ahead and take the time to grab it. Start to settle into your mat, settle into your breath. Let's take a few really nice grounding breaths as you make your way in. And as we're here mindfully breathing, this is our yoga. If you did not move from this space and continue to move through your breath with purpose for the next 50 some minutes, that is doing yoga. It's not about crazy complicated shapes. Knowing most of us will probably opt to go into some other poses beyond this first child's pose. Just pay attention to your breath and notice how it feels in this first place, where we're in a relative ease. If the breath moves out of that place of ease, if you cannot comfortably breathe somewhere, you can always return to child's pose to come back to this place, reconnect. I've been talking the last several weeks about the Yamas, the first branch of the 8-limb path of yoga. And we are to the 5th and final Yama, and it happens to be my favorite here on my day of birth. The 5th Yama is Aparigraha, and it translates to non-grasping, non-clutching, non-hoarding, if you will. And we can apply this to so many things. Not hoarding or hanging on to too many material possessions, not holding on to practices or relationships or anything that isn't serving us. Letting things go. And the thing about releasing and letting go is we often feel that we're giving things up if we let go, like we're losing something. And more often than not, when we're able to release, especially something that isn't serving, that isn't moving us forward, we gain so much more when we can just let go and make room for something else. So give yourself a few breaths for that to land and settle. Maybe think about how you can use that in your practice tonight. Even in our physical practice of asana, we get really tied to the way that we do things or the way we think we should do things, the way we think something should look or how it should be. Trying to let some of those attachments go, seeing how we can possibly move forward in that process. Let's take a couple of clearing breaths here. So after your air empties out from your last round of breath, draw a big inhale through the nose. Give a little pause at the top and then open your mouth, sigh at your exhale. Another one like that, in through your nose. And out through the mouth. This third round, you can do exactly the same or draw in through the nose. And leave the lips sealed, making the same audible sound as you breathe out. Continue to breathe with your pace. And if you practice Ujjayi breath, that audible breath that we just forayed into, you can keep that going. And start to move around a little bit here on your mat, whether it's wiggling your fingers and toes, rolling your forehead side to side. Maybe you shift your hips a bit. And then once you're ready, let's rise up to hands and knees. No rush to get there. Coming into a tabletop. Giving yourself a little space in front of you. And let's walk the hands forward. Leaving the hips above the knees, taking the elbows, forearms down, and then let the forehead soften down. Puppy pose. A couple breaths here. And then let's release. Carefully coming back to your hands and knees. And let's take a cat pose. Tucking the chin, tucking your pelvis, hugging your navel into spine. On an inhale, release your belly down toward the mat and take cow pose. Lift your chin and your tail. Exhale takes you back up into cat. And one more time, inhale through cow. Let's neutralize the spine. Reset your hands and knees if you need to. And let's lift the right arm up to the high. Breathe in as you open the chest. Exhale, float that arm through, but don't come all the way down just yet. Use your core to kind of hover you in place. Inhale, reach up high. And exhale, reach it through. Last time, we'll reach up, press up. And exhale, this time we'll come all the way down. Your right ear, your right temple to the mat or maybe a block. Right palm facing up. Breathe here. Another round of breath. And then we'll press back up on the inhale. Reach it up high, unwind. And exhale, come back to your center, back to your hands and knees. Shift your hips a bit, take a breath or so. And then on an inhale, we'll come up with the left arm, reaching, opening. Exhale, thread it under. And we'll come up 3 of these guys. Last time. And this time we'll take it all the way down, relax. Feel that upper mid back, Getting a nice stretch here, left shoulder. Maybe if your neck's a little tight. And then we'll press it up, inhaling, press into that right palm. Exhale, let your hand come down. Another inhale as you tuck the toes. And exhale, find your downward facing dog. Notice if you have a tendency to want to really move around right away, just give yourself a couple of beats of stillness here. Feel the backs of the legs. Take a moment to press toward your fingertips in your hands and let your chest come back a little closer to your thighs. Give your neck some space, shoulders away from the ears. And now if you want to walk the dog, bend into the right knee, straighten the left leg, and then switch. Keep your breath going. Keep the pace of this pretty easy. No Stairmaster craziness going on. Even out your two sides. And let's come back to center. Let the feet widen toward the edges of the mat and come back maybe a foot or so with the hands. Get most of the weight into your feet, like you could almost push off of those hands. Yeah, and then in this shortened dog, reach across your left ankle with your right hand. Peek under that left armpit. Take another breath here. And then let's switch sides. Take the left hand across. Twist in. Try to keep your hips neutral, twisting at the torso. Good, let's come back with that left hand. Bring the feet back to hip width and walk the hands all the way back to your feet, forward fold. You can find ragdoll, grabbing for opposite elbows. Really let that torso drape down, soften the knees. Switch your ragdoll grip, opposite arm on top. And you can add a little sway here, side to side. Trying to get that low back to release. Biceps by your ears. And now releasing the hands down to the mat. Let's take just a moment here to lift the tailbone up a little bit more toward the ceiling. Tip your weight toward your toes. You might feel like you're about to careen forward onto your head. You probably won't. No guarantees, but probably not. Feel those hamstrings lengthen as you do that. Then soften the knees and let's rise all the way up to the top. Reaching up high. Oh, it's really raining. And on your exhale, drop your right arm by your side. Reach up and over with that left arm, side bend. Press your left foot really purposefully into the mat. Come back through center. Exhale, left hand drops. Reach up and over. Come back through the middle. Reach up high. Take a little slight back bend here. And exhale, let it go. Bow forward. Give yourself a halfway lift here. Extend the crown. Draw those shoulder blades together. And exhale, fold. Walk the hands to the top of the mat, softening your knees on the way. Coming to a high plank. Knees can come down in your plank. And then just give yourself a little movement forward and back. Shifting up high on the toes, shifting your shoulders past the fingertips, like you're about to do a chaturanga, but we're not going there just yet. Just getting that sensation, firing up the core as we hold ourselves in place here. Take another breath in, find some stillness, and exhale, hinge the hips back, downward facing dog. Let's hinge forward on the inhale, high plank. Flatten out, and then exhale, right back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward again. Set your knees down this time. You can either leave the booty up high for knees, chest, and chin, or just lower all the way down to the belly. That's our exhale. Inhale, take a cobra pose. It can be baby cobra, or maybe you're lifting up a little higher. On the exhale, press into the hands, send the hips back, child's pose. Breathe here. Exhale it out. Inhale, lift up to table. Tuck your toes, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's lift our heels, bend the knees, and look forward. As you exhale, come to your forward fold at the top of the mat. Stepping one big step or maybe several little ones. Halfway lift, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Inhale, soften the knees, rise up. Let's take those side bends here. You can take a different variation or same one, dropping the right arm, reaching up and over. Inhale back through center. Taking the other side. Inhale back through the middle. Take it into a little back bend if you wish. And exhale, let it go. Bow forward. Halfway lift, crown extends. Exhale, fold, hands plant, feet step back to plank. You can hold this here, building your strength, shifting back to downward facing dog. Or if you're ready for that chaturanga, bending into the elbows, tricep push-up. Doesn't have to be super deep. You can work your way there or not. And exhale, we find our downward facing dog. That's where we meet. Let's come through that sun salutation A one more time. So move with your breath. Always move with your breath. If you know where you're going, don't even wait for me. Step to the top of the mat on an exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Rise as you breathe in. Taking those side bends or throwing something different in there. Leaving it out altogether. This is your practice. Sometimes that's our art of letting go. We're given something that is not really working for us, whether it doesn't work all the time or it's just tonight. Follow that instinct. Taking your chaturanga on an exhale or skipping that. It's a really good place to let go sometimes, is feeling the need to do all the chaturangas. You guys know that I'm all about leaving that out if you want to. So here we are, we're in downward facing dog. Give you a couple breaths here to either reset or get there. And then let's bring our toes a little closer together here. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Take that knee pretty high, bend it, stacking the hip. Now let your right foot travel over to the left like you're about to flip your dog, but we're not going to. And then dial it back a bit. Close your right shoulder down. Good. Inhale, extend that leg behind you. Exhale, draw the knee way into the chest. Inhale, lift up, three-legged. And exhale, bring that foot in between the hands. Low lunge. Give yourself a little width between the feet for stability, and then drop that back knee down. Make sure the right knee is stacked over the right ankle. You can untuck those back toes, come up with the arms on an inhale. Supported crescent. Sink in on your exhale, let your shoulders soften. Let's breathe in as you bring your hands into heart center. And exhale, prayer twist to your right. Try to stay lifted through the chest. Maybe your thumbs work your way to your sternum. Try not to collapse that left hip. From here, stay twisted, let your left hand come down, right arm opens up. Take another breath here. And then exhale, take your right hand down, shift the hips back, release into a half split. Straighten that right leg out. You can flex the toes if you need a little bit more stretch here. Stay for another breath here. Exhale, come forward into your lunge. Tuck those back toes. Lift the back knee, step back, high plank, holding here, or moving through that vinyasa. Your high to low push-up, taking your back bend on the inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg up to the sky. Bend the knee, open your hip. Three-legged dog. Let that hip open. Do that little fake out. Yes, like your left foot is getting heavy, feeling that stretch on the left side body. And then close the left shoulder down. That's kind of our way back. Still keeping the knee lifted. Extend that left leg behind you. Square the hip. Inhale. Exhale, knee into chest. Really lift your shin away from the mat. Inhale, three-legged. Exhale, foot planks between your hands. Low lunge. Scoot your toes up if they didn't land as far forward as you had wished. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Untuck the toes. Settle in here, and then we'll come up with the arms. Breathe in. Exhale, bring the hips forward and down. Let the shoulders relax. Inhale, take your hands into heart. Exhale, find that prayer twist left. On our inhales, we're creating some space. Exhale's trying to twist in a little deeper into that space. Not forcing anything, but seeing if those thumbs can get a little closer to your heart. Right hand comes to the floor or to a block, perhaps lifting the left arm high. Keep some softness in your joints, including that right elbow. On your exhale, take your left hand down and shift back, half split. Let go of all that work in the hamstrings, lengthening it out. Take another breath in, coming forward on the exhale, tucking your back toes, lifting that back knee, inhale. Step it back, chaturanga or not on the exhale. Inhale, sweeping the chest, upward facing, cobra, exhale, downward facing dog. Let's inhale, take the heels up high. Exhale, bend the knees, looking forward, stepping to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, forward fold, exhale. Inhale, rise up to stand. And exhale, let's find chair pose. Sink your hips back, bend the knees, like we're sitting in a little imaginary chair. Let your shoulders relax here. Pull your belly in, breathe. One more breath here. Maybe you get a little lower, maybe not. On our next inhale, stand up tall. Bring that left knee with you. One-legged mountain pose. On the exhale, hinge forward, send that leg behind you. Warrior three. We're balancing. Hooray, right? Bring the hands into your heart. Let those shoulders relax. Keep your left toes pointing down at the mat. Solid in the breath. Solid in your gaze. Chest is slightly lifted here. Land your back toes into a lunge. Keep your prayer hands. Breathe in. On the exhale, we'll find our prayer twist right. So our back knee is lifted here, but it could come down, right? If you want that support, set that knee down. You can stay here or you can open your arms, your choice. Good, now let's lift the arms up to high crescent, big breath. And exhale, open up to your warrior two. Both feet Nice and grounded into the mat. Left toes will turn in ever so slightly. Just feel what feels good in your body. Adjust your feet as you need to. Breathe here, let your shoulders settle. Gaze over those right fingers. Turn the right palm up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Reach up and back. And exhale, find your side angle. Elbow comes to the thigh. Maybe the hand reaches down toward your ankle, toward a block. Try to keep your chest spinning open. And you can extend this by reaching that left arm over the left ear. Press your left heel into the mat. Feel that line of energy. Left heel to left fingertips. Breathe. Take another breath in here. And then let's circle this arm around, kind of like a little air guitar here. Come back to your extended side angle. Inhale, come up through your warrior two. Reach up and back. Try to keep that solid bend in your right leg. And exhale, take the hands down to the mat. Low lunge. Stepping it back. Taking your high to low. Or skipping all that biz, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. Let's lift up through the heels. Exhale, looking forward, bending the knees, come to your forward fold. Let's pause here in forward fold, feet separate. You can stay right here or bind your big toes with your peace fingers. Take a little lift of the chest, and exhale, bend your elbows, fold in deeper. Any forward fold here will do. Good, let's let the feet come back together, let go of your bind if you got it. And rise up to stand, big breath. Exhale, hips come back and down for chair pose. Take a breath here. Sink a little lower on your exhale. Inhale, get long through your spine, your fingertips. Exhale, let the hips get lower. Next inhale, let's stand up, let it go, lean back. And, oh, yep, we gotta bring our right knee up with us. Sorry, almost forgot there. And on the exhale, come into your warrior three. Arms reach forward, right leg presses back. Our left foot is the root now. All those right toes dialed down toward the mat. Hip is closed. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Take another breath here. And carefully land those right toes. Soften into your left knee. Coming into our lunge. Hands to heart center. Breathe in. Exhale, twist left. Prayer twist. If you open your arms on the other side, you can go there here too. You lift that right kneecap a little bit. Or you can be in that supported lunge with that right knee down. Let's let this go. Coming up with the arms, big breath. Exhale, open out, warrior two. Any adjustment of the feet, usually not a whole lot, but you might make a little more space for your pelvis or line up your knee over the ankle if it's not doing that. Soften the shoulders. Turn your left palm high. Reach up and back, reverse, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Taking it to your place. Nice and grounded through the feet. Try to let your toes be light. Chest, rib cage open. Breath. And let's circle that arm around. Make that rotation. Reach it up. And then on an inhale, coming up and back, reversing your warrior. Lengthen out. Exhale, take the hands, cartwheel them down to the mat. Stepping back. Taking your flow. Once you reach downward facing dog, lift your heels, breath in, exhale, knees bend, travel up to the top of the mat, forward fold. Feet separate. This time, if you want it, soften into your knees, slide your palms all the way under your feeties for gorilla pose. Taking a little lift of the chest, exhale, fold in. Breathe deeply. Release your hands if you're standing on them. Bring those feet back in. Soften the knees. Rise up, reach up. And let's come right into our one-legged Tadasana, lifting that left knee up. Stay here, get your bearings here, just balancing on your right foot. Take another breath. On the exhale, cross that ankle over the knee. Sink the hips back, hands come to heart center. We're in a figure 4 one-legged chair situation here. So our left knee is really opening out here. You can stay here or start to fold forward. You can stop here, forearms at the shin, or take the hands all the way down to the mat. Folding in. Maybe there's an arm balance out there with somebody. Not for me today. I'm going to soften back into my knee, hitting that rewind button, coming back up. Come all the way up, no matter where you landed. You've been doing good work. You don't have to take it all the way. Come back into this one-legged Tadasana. Exhale, find your warrior 3. Arms reach forward, left leg back. Land those back toes, soften your front knee. Crescent lunge. On an exhale, find your prayer twist to the right. Inhale, reach back up through high crescent. Exhale, open to your warrior 2. Same stuff here, we're just breath to movement. Reach up and back, reversing your warrior. Exhale, find your way back into that side angle. Going to the same place, we'll pause here for a few breaths. Maybe you try something different. Half bind with that left arm wrapped behind your back. Full bind, right arm snakes through. Try to keep the chest lifted if you're binding. Let's release wherever you ended up. Arms open. Reach up and back with the breath in, straighten your right leg this time. Exhale, take your arms out to a T. Bump the back foot in some. Exhale, find your triangle pose. This would be a good place for a block. I'm gonna reach for mine here. Inside or outside of that foot. Your leg will do just as fine if you don't have a prop available. Try to get a little lighter on those right fingertips if they're resting on something. Now give a little bend in the right knee. Move your hand, your prop, a little kind of northeast of your foot. Lift your left leg up for half moon. So hip is open. Left hip is on top of the right. We're going in that direction. Right shoulder or left shoulder stacking on top of the right. Breathe. Now let your left hand slowly come down to the mat. In the process, our hip is closing. Go slowly with that. Bend your back leg that's still up in the air. Reach your right hand back. See if you can grab that left foot or ankle. You can stay right here. For the record, you can stay right here. Or reverse dancer, start to stand up. Last pose on the side. Breathe. If you're in a reverse dancer, let your left hand come to your heart center. Take it back forward into your forward fold. Release your foot. And left foot comes by your right, forward fold. Ooh, take a couple breaths. Get your bearings. Reset. Let go of that first side. So feet are separated. Let's take the left hand central, right in front of your face. Lift the left arm up high. Bend your left knee. Twist open. Close that right arm down on an exhale. Inhale the left arm high. Switch sides. Close down, exhaling. Feet come into the midline, rise up, sweep up. One day I'm going to knock this picture off the wall, mark my words. And shift your weight over to the left foot, lift your right knee. Finding this one-legged Tadasana, Ekapada Tadasana. Breathe in here. On the exhale, right ankle crosses over the left knee, hands come to heart, sink the hips back. Our Ekapada Utkatasana, one-legged chair. Remember where you went on the other side, it was a while ago. See if we can go somewhere kind of similar. Forearms to shins. It's okay, Rod, it's my brother. My brother is calling and our playlist speaker is picking up on that. So anyway, come back where you landed, forward fold. Or if you were just holding this chair the whole time, brava. Come back to your one-legged mountain, reach up, breath in, exhale, warrior three. Reach that right leg back, land your toes, soften your front knee, hands to heart center, exhale, prayer twist left. Inhale, reach it up high, crescent lunge, exhale, open out warrior two. Inhale, reverse it back, and exhale, side angle. This is where we slow it down a bit, wrapping. We're just working on that extended side angle, your choice. Breathing. One more breath. Start to release. Reach up and back, straighten your left leg. Tee your arms out, bump that back foot in. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Block if you want it. Water bottle is also a really nice block. Get a little lighter on your left fingers. That'll be a little more challenging on one side than the other, most likely. And we'll soften into the left knee. Block hand comes to the upper left part of your mat. Lift up, half moon. Yeah, everything opening, stacking. Breath nice and big. It's a big pose. You need big breath. Slowly start to come down with your right hand. And then bend your right knee. Reach back with that left hand. And remember, good place to stay. Or pull that belly in. That's your stability in your core as you stand up. Reverse dancer. Pressing that right foot into your left hand, vice versa. Let that right hand come back to your heart center. Slowly, with control, coming back forward. And then releasing everything to the mat, forward fold. Leave your feet about hip width here. Yogi's choice on your forward fold here is let everything drop down, drop in. You could be grabbing a drink of water. Let's take a moment here. And once you're ready, let your feet come a little wider. Grab your block if you've got it. Place it just behind you. And let the hips come down into a supported malasana, yogi squat. So if you usually don't use a block here, just see what happens, provided that you have one or something that you can sit down upon. Really try to focus on this opening of the knees. See that the knees are over or tracking over your toes, chest nice and lifted and open. Let your right arm open out at a diagonal. It could hit the floor or just be floating here. Lift the left arm up to the high, twist open. So your arms are in kind of a diagonal. Come back through heart center, hands pressed, and then take the other side. Left arm opens, low diagonal, right arm, high diagonal. Come back through your heart center. Now here is where, if you normally don't use a block in this pose, or even if you do, you might attempt this. Press into your feet, press into your hands, try to keep that chest lifted, and then just lift your tailbone an inch or so, lifting up off the block. And then let it go into a forward fold. Let the low back relax. Shift your hips side to side with your feet still wide. Let's move the block out of the way. And allow your feet to step back to a plank pose. Bring your toes together. Bring your thumbs together. And shift your heels to the right. Lift your left arm high, side plank. Two options here if you want to modify a side plank. Right knee comes down, or you can also step your left foot forward. So you're in kind of almost a horizon lunge here. Okay, that's more of a hip opener. Let's come back through center. High plank. Heels shift to the left, right arm lifts. Choose your path, staying there, taking one of those variations. I prefer that word variation to modification because, what are we modifying? It makes it seem like it's lesser than. It's just a different version. We'll come back through center, shift the hips back, downward facing dog. Let the knees come down to the mat. Child's pose. Just take a couple beats here. Come back to your breath. From your child's pose, walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Find a nice lateral stretch. And then come over to the left when you're ready. Let's come back through center. And make your way back to your downward facing dog. Let's come back for that three-legged dog, lifting the right leg up to the sky, bending the knee. Now here is where if you were really wanting to flip over earlier in class, here's your chance. Flipping your dog, letting that right foot come all the way to the floor. We're just focusing here on your three-legged. Coming back. And then bring that right shin up to the top of the mat for half pigeon. So every pose is really a your mileage may vary situation, but some more than others, right? So if your knees are giving you some noise here, feel free to come onto your back. Find a little levelness across your hips. Right hip pulling back slightly as the left hip pulls forward. You can always put some support by way of a blanket or cushion under your right hip. If and when you're ready, coming forward. Block could be good under your forehead, your sternum here, or maybe both. You've got two blocks in play. You could stay just as you are in this space. Option to thread your left arm underneath your right and take your left ear to the mat. Right arm could wrap behind your back. Sometimes magically your hand and foot become friends here. Sometimes they're more socially distanced. So we'll start to unravel, start to come up from your pigeon. This is, once again, just an option. Everything's an option, but you would like to see about king pigeon to some level, bending that left knee. That might be enough, just giving that stretch to the left quad. Your left hand could reach back. Flexing those toes could keep your left knee a little happier, perhaps. And we'll let this go. So pick your exit. You could tuck your left toes here and send your right leg back into a three-legged dog. Three-legged table is also glorious. Enables us to circle out here, straighten that leg behind or kick something over. Yeah, just find your release. Any post-pigeon rituals that you like. We'll come back through down dog. When you're ready, lift that left leg up to the sky, three-legged. Just opening the hip might be enough. I'm not flipping over today, but you are more than welcome. Flip your dog if you did on the other side. Come back through three-legged. And left shin finds its way toward the top of the mat, or you come onto your back. Left hip drawing back, right forward here, sitting up tall for a couple breaths. Left foot flexing for that knee, and coming forward if and when you're ready. Depending on our our personality here on this yoga mat. Sometimes the hardest thing to practice Aparigraha, the letting go in the physical practice, is that need to take things further when it's offered. Take things into a perceived, more advanced place. And I say perceived because really the most advanced version of a pose is the one that you're the most tuned into your own body. So that might not be the quote unquote hardest expression of that posture. Tuning in, letting go of the noise, letting go of the ego. And we'll come up as you're ready. Coming into your king pigeon, bending the right knee. Just adding that bend, you'll notice that stretch start to do its thing. Reaching back if you want. And then finding your exit of choice. We're eventually coming down to a seat, so you're welcome to just swing your legs around, circling out that would be the left leg, either leg. We worked both hips, lots of hip work today, so find your release. You might be in three-legged dog if you need to take that symmetrical path. So once we meet on our seat, let the legs lengthen, straighten. Find your sitting bones. Move that junk out of your trunk and soften your legs, your hips a bit here, and reach the arms forward. Slowly lower all the way down. So when we let go of that leg hip engagement, then our core is doing all this work to get us down. Go as slowly or as quickly as you need to. Find a nice full body stretch. Once you get there, lengthening out. Let's draw the knees into the chest. Side to side for the low back, the kidneys. Bring your hands, your feet. The hands of your lower half, your feet. Bring them down to the mat, knees bent. Hands by your sides, or maybe your hands flip by your ears. We'll take one back bend. Just one, bridge or wheel. Lifting up. Could even be supported bridge. Block under your tailbone. Legs strong here. Also, awareness in your heart space, your chest. When we bend our back, our chest opens naturally. So feel that openness. Take another couple of breaths here. We'll come all the way down to the mat. Lower your tailbone. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees open up. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly as you release. You're right on the precipice of our Shavasana, our final resting pose. If you feel really good where you are, you could remain as you are. You're of course welcome to shift out if this becomes not easy in your body. We want to find ease in this last space. As you find your way in, whether it's now or a few breaths, few moments, minutes from now, if you are taking another pose or two, you make your way into that final place of rest. Just land there knowing your practice was just as it was intended. In every moment, in every pose, in every breath. Just as you are exactly as you are meant to be in this moment. Any thoughts that are self-limiting in nature, let those go right here. Let it all go. Take a deep breath in, filling up your chest. Open your mouth, sigh that breath out. Find your way back into movement as slowly as you need to, taking your time without feeling any rush. Reawakening, coming back to a comfortable seat when you are ready. And once you reach your upright seat, we'll open the arms out to a T with the palms facing up. With the breath in, lift your gaze high, even with the eyes closed. Reach the arms up. Breath in, and as you exhale, draw a line down to your heart center. Next inhale, lift your thumbs up to your third eye center between your brows. Exhale, bring them back to your heart. Bowing to the light within, knowing that light exists within ourselves, within each and every one of us. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. It has truly been my honor, my privilege to lead you tonight. Namaste.
Thank you, Bert.